And a warm welcome to the Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast. We are loud and clear on Welsh football. I'm the former BBC Wales football correspondent, and alongside me, Nathan Blake, former Wales international and Premier League player. Greetings.
Greetings, good tidings and all that. It's that time of the year, isn't it?
Nearly.
Yes.
Of course, we're speaking to you, as ever, from the University of South Wales atrium. And we're brought to you by the valued support of the journalism and media courses. We ask every week, spread the word, tell your friends. We're on all social media outlets, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, Threads. Watch us on YouTube, or of course, listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, including Spotify. Thank you for your help. Last week, with Mike Flynn on board, we had record numbers, so really appreciate that, Nathan.
Yeah, don't thank me, thank Michael, Mr. Flynn.
Great, and it's still available to see or listen to on Spotify and YouTube. And this week, we are really excited because we're going to be joined in not too long by the Cardiff City manager, head coach, Brian Barry Murphy. So we're looking forward to that.
We are indeed.
Yeah, not just...
Excuse me if I seem a bit slow. I'm a bit tired today.
Okay, well, I'll soon wake you up.
I'll
get you going. No, we
see,
normally do.
Yes.
But we've got so much to talk about before we speak to Brian Barry Murphy. Not least, Nathan, not one, but two new managers in at our EFL clubs. Let's start with Swansea City.
Yeah.
Vitor Matos, appointed on a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
First game, we're recording this Wednesday, the day after his first game, a defeat at home last night to Derby County, 2-1. A difficult job and a difficult start.
Yeah, I looking at Swansea, I was saying to a few of the lads earlier, they just seem a bit... they're playing okay, but they seem physically... They seem a bit soft. Do you understand what I mean?
Do you remember a few weeks ago?
We're saying about Wrexham.
You were at Portsmouth, Wrexham.
Yeah.
And I was watching both games because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I was saying, even though Wrexham didn't win, the intensity of Portsmouth-Wrexham was a different level to Swansea's game at Preston.
Yeah.
And I watched the defeat by Derby and I'm thinking... I don't understand why the players, even at Bristol City on Saturday, which I also saw, why the players didn't think the new managers in the stands. First impressions, he changed the team, brought back Jay Fulton. But really nothing, other than Ethan Galbraith's super goal at the end.
Yeah.
Really nothing. And he nailed it afterwards. He said there's got to be more aggression. He used the word aggression in an interview I saw 2 or 3 times.
Okay, well, I haven't seen that, and I swear down. You know, I watched them. I watched the Bristol City highlights, which I thought they'd done okay. Should have scored. I thought Ida should have had a couple, but then I watched the highlights last night of Derby, and it was the same. They got a similar problem to what Wrexham had early on in the season. Right? So I was saying Wrexham were too passive. So you've got to be more aggressive. The Swansea seem like soft. They play okay, but they don't seem to have that sort of aggression anywhere.
The edge.
Yeah. That nastiness. Everyone seems to be nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seems to be a really nice team, and it's sort of like a bit of a beacon. What you'll probably find will happen now is we're not calling them out, but once you expose it, they might have been going from game to game without really realising, like, we're looking like a bit of a soft touch here, gents. I mean, so once it's been exposed, like the manager said, lack of aggression, we're saying, soft or lack of aggression, what you might see is a bit of a turnaround on that now, because the last thing you want to be known as a footballer is a soft touch. You just don't need that label attached to you. And it's pretty easy to change, right? And it doesn't mean to say you go and get sent off or go,
No.
giving stupid fouls. It just means like they lost one of their goals. I think it was the Derby game. It lost a similar goal a few weeks ago. Who did they play before? Bristol City. But we're talking about them losing balls in midfield. It is a similar situation. That central midfield battle they've lost. They get countered and they lose a goal. Just like I say, just soft. I was happy for centre half who scored a couple of OGs.
Oh, Cameron Burgess.
Yeah, Burgess, he cleared one off the line, didn't he? So
Yeah.
that could have gone anywhere and off his shin or anything like that. So that would have given him a little bit of confidence, because sometimes when you're on those bad runs of bad luck, they just continue. So, but yeah, I just not alarming, but I just it's something I don't like in
No.
in
And
my
there's no need
in
to-
a team of mine. Then, if it was a team of mine,
Yeah.
what I wouldn't want them to be known as is soft. Like.
There's no need to panic yet.
No, you don't
because
panic.
On paper, the squad should be. I think the argument against Alan Sheehan was he's not getting the best out of that squad.
Yeah, said about Cardiff.
Well, yeah, and Matos did change things.
Yeah.
As I said, brought back, I think it was 4 changes
Yeah.
altogether, with the help of Joe Allen and Leon Britton. Now, that's what I do like about Swansea. They get their legends involved, and I think that can only help matters. Like when Alan Curtis used to take over as caretaker.
It depends. Listen, I'll give you a little inside information. Sometimes ex-players, I've been at clubs where ex-players do the heading of the players who are there constantly. Just remember that. So we take as outside people, we take for granted, oh, that's a help. That might be a hindrance. I'm just giving you the flip side.
The opposite, yeah.
Yeah, it's not always, because you're a legend of the club, and I won't name any names, but I played at one club where legend of the club, former player, the dressing room couldn't stand him. And he was one of them. If you'd seen him in a night out, you probably would have biffed him up a bit because he was so rude.
Nice dressing room.
No, because he was so rude to the crop of players who were there, and he had been doing it for years prior. So you've got to understand, it's not always like, I don't think that'll be the case with Britain. And who was the other one?
And Joe Allen.
And Joe Allen, because Joe's such a nice lad, right?
And he was part of that squad.
And he's
very recent.
You know, his intention is never to be like, well, knowing Joe, he's not that type of lad, right? He's only going to see the positive. He's going to be nice about it. And he'll be loved in the dressing room, I would have thought.
Yeah.
So, I'm just giving you like a flip side sometimes.
A couple of weeks ago, you gave us a load of names that you felt would be appropriate for Swansea. Do you remember you reeled off all these names?
Yeah. I've done a bit of research for
European
them,
clubs.
Yeah.
Clubs on the continent. They came up with Vitor Matos, having missed out on Kim Hellberg, who went to Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
He was 5 years as elite development coach at Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp. In his press conference, he was inevitably asked about Jurgen Klopp, and he said, yeah, I speak to him. He's a busy man, but he's always got time for me. And they said they did their due diligence, interviewed a large number of candidates, drew up a shortlist, involved legends in the process, said Tom Gorringe, the chief exec.
That's good as well.
How would they have come up with his name, do you think? Because if you look at his management career,
He hasn't got one.
he was, 12 games at Maritimo in Portugal.
Yeah.
And it's still in China as well.
I would have said that's a recommendation from someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows someone. I don't think that's... but it might be part of a deeper
But that's
dive.
good connections.
A deeper dive research. Well, it's good connections if you're successful.
Yeah.
You know how football is. If he's not successful, then what you turn around and say to yourself, and what fans will be saying is, what do you expect? Drawing people from that level, League Two in What did you say?
In Portugal.
In Portugal.
Liga 2.
Liga 2 in Portugal. No managerial, very limited managerial experience, blah, blah, blah. Bringing him to the fifth. This is what I think people fail to recognise about the Championship. And it's almost like the Championship is forgotten. You're the fifth toughest league in the world.
Yeah.
Or this side of the pond then, in the West. You're the fifth toughest league. That's like, you know.
Dave Jones always used to say it's the toughest league to get out of.
Yeah, it's like.
I mean, there's two ways out.
You look at the size of the clubs. It's just the Premier League. Like, there's only one or two clubs. I think Preston is one club that's never been to the Premier League in the Championship at the moment. I think Oxford is another.
Yeah.
But it is a Premier League. What you've got now is like, because so many clubs are going to the Premier League and coming down, what's happening is then, if you look at League One, there's probably 8 or 9, maybe 10 clubs in League One are ex-Premier League. So
we're going to have the manager on.
What I'm saying is, it's a massive league. So in order to bring someone in, and everyone you can appoint an experienced top manager, and you can appoint an absolute unknown. Yeah. It's 100%, Rob. It's always a gamble.
I think, but judging by...
Give everyone a chance, though.
Well, yeah.
That's my thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, there were boos at the Swansea.com at the final whistle. I'm pretty certain that wasn't directed at the manager.
Yeah.
Because I've got to say, he said a lot of good things.
Yeah.
And as I said to you, interesting, he nailed it afterwards about the aggression and effectively saying that intent, that...
You've got to have it, Rob.
Intensity, not intent.
Yeah.
But the other thing he said was training is going to be huge for us. And my concern is... They've got so many games now, like all the clubs.
Yeah.
You know, the international break is over now.
Yeah. 2 games a week, 3 games a week.
Yeah. How much training time does he get?
Well, if you play, say, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, at the start and middle of my career, you would play on a Saturday, you'd be off on a Sunday, light train on a Monday. You might do a session Tuesday morning, play Tuesday night, off Wednesday, in Thursday, hard session, Friday, light session, go again Saturday. That was the routine early. But towards the end of my career, it was play on a Saturday, in for a warm down on a Sunday, train Monday, play Tuesday with a light session Tuesday morning, in Wednesday for a light warm down session, train hard Thursday, light Friday. So in other words, days off were removed.
Yeah.
So, it's having a day off became a real sort of, no almost towards the end of my career.
Well, we shall see what happens at West Brom on Saturday. Should tell people that
it's a tough game.
Nathan, Blake and I, and you'll be able to see this. We've started to give predictions for the weekend. We're really putting our necks on the line. How stupid have we been, Nathan?
I never get it.
But
right.
Look out for that.
That's why I don't play that fantasy football thing.
Neither do I.
Because I am useless at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ever be... So you're
don't,
not...
If you're going to... don't encourage the old pound bet and all that, but if you do, don't follow us.
No. This is a disclaimer of some things... of our predictions, okay? So...
for real. I'm glad you put that out there.
Yeah.
Outside of that document, too.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to change your mind by the end of this programme, possibly.
Yeah.
And we should note as well... Rob Edwards, Welshman, gone to Wolves, and he's from Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
And that's why Kim Hellberg has gone to Middlesbrough.
Money's nice, man. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't go there for any other
And Paul
reason.
Trollope has joined him at Wolves.
Oh.
The old Wales coach.
Okay.
And Cardiff, sometime, I think 12 weeks, Cardiff City manager, but hey, that's
you
for
love
again.
all that, don't you? Look, he's smiling about it. Charles is a nice lad.
Oh, he is, yeah. And
not a number one, though, for me. Knowing the personality, and, it is today. Someone will clip this up, it'll be on social media, or we might clip it up, be on social media, and someone will be saying to him, oh, Charles, Nathan Blake said, listen, there's number ones and there's number twos. And
he knows
I think I think Charles is a very, very good number 2.
And I think he knows
I just don't think he's that personality of leadership.
Which is not a problem because he's obviously a coach in demand because he gets jobs all the time.
James Rowbury, another one, you know,
doing really well at
might want to be a number 1, but doesn't quite have that. You've got to have that edge, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The Swansea edge.
Yeah.
So West Brom on Saturday, Oxford home then, the team just below them. Pompey home, Stoke away, Wrexham home, Coventry away on Boxing Day.
Hell of a run,
it's a toughie
and
for
it's a tough
Vitor
league this year because
there's
no one. I mean, Coventry seems to have all of a sudden run away with it.
10 points clear of the top.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Gutted, really. I really am. I am gutted. You know, apart from Terry Angus, my mate, who's a big Coventry fan.
Sky Blue.
Yeah,
there we are.
because I'm gonna have to hear it from him as well.
But not the only new manager in town on our patch, as we like to think of it. Enter Christian Fuchs.
Spell it right.
Newport County. Well, yeah, interesting. He was part of the Leicester City team.
I remember.
That lost in the FA Cup to Newport. And the only thing he remembers about it was that they spelled his name wrong on the team sheet.
Yeah, let's not go there.
We
you
won't
know
go
what it
there.
was.
No.
Yeah.
Now, we had some sort of inclination because you were at Accrington and who else was there but Christian Fuchs?
Yeah, just a small clue that he might be taking over as manager. Yeah, because Accrington, we got word on, I think it was the Friday, and we were like, no, that can't be right. So, of course, all eyes were on Hugh Jenks to see, like, is he with Christian Fuchs? And there was no sign of him. But what we didn't anticipate is that they'd worked out a clever little strategy where I'll sit here and you sit over there. So, of course, when we're all looking at Hugh, he's nowhere to be seen, and then someone's clocked him. So, oh, yeah, he's here. So it wasn't a...
It may have been coincidence.
What you talking about, Willis? Come on, man.
Yeah. Well, I think as we're recording this, he's given his first press conference.
Listen, good luck to him.
Yeah. He's going to need it, isn't he?
Well, listen, I don't think...
Because Newport's situation is no laughing matter.
It's dire, mate.
Yeah.
It is dire. We're not even got to Christmas. And I don't think I can recall a worse season. I'm being serious. I think it's an absolute travesty. It's awful. Because I don't think, whether you manage the club, run the club, own the club, board of the club, whatever, I always say it's the knock-on effect of everything. And, I've been involved with the charity for an awful long time, and the people of Newport and the amount of kids and children and older people and what have you, we help. And then what the football club is supposed to represent to the fans and everybody. I keep saying, there's certain people within the town, or the city now, who don't understand what a football club means to the local area. And listen, if they go down out of the league, it's gonna have a massive knock-on effect.
It really does hit the town.
They don't realize, and it's a town that's struggling already, right? If you look at like Newport Town Centre, listen. If you go there, be careful. I'm telling you the truth. Be careful walking through Newport Town Centre. It's not good anymore.
So we've been pretty clear that a lot of the blame lies with Hugh Jenkins. Mm-hmm. He did all the
This is thing. Listen, he's recruited everything, right?
So do you think Christian Fuchs would have come there knowing that this is all he had to... I'm not being disrespectful, but they're a squad that palpably isn't good enough to stay up at the moment. Would you have taken a job where there wasn't some assurance that there'll be new players coming in January?
No,
because you and I could go watch Newport and have done, and we know the problems.
To answer that, no. Michael sat here last week and said, hit the nail on the head. No, if I go in there now and you don't back it and what have you, then everything falls on me.
Yeah,
I'm the manager. I hear the rumour that Fuchs would put a bit of, or was part of, putting money into the club as
We
well.
don't know that. We don't know.
Well, that's just a rumour. Unless there's assurances, and I know owners might say one thing and do another, but this isn't that time to be saying one thing and doing another. This is time to say what you mean and mean what you say, because otherwise you're going to find yourself in the National League, and even if things go good from now to the end of the season, you'll probably find yourself in the National League. Things have to go great or above great for them to get out of the situation they're in my opinion. Otherwise, they're in the National League.
And they need, we all know what they need in January. They need experience as much as anything. And ideally, someone who can score goals.
Bored of saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's a reality that Christian Fuchs is having to face.
Said it from day one. Like, you know, but I think when people are saying it and everyone's saying it, and then the pushback comes back from the club that, no, that's not what we need. It's like, okay, crack on, keep doing what you're doing. And when it ends up you're getting relegated at the end of the season, then you have to face the wrath yourself, innit? You come out with the reasons why you think they went down, and that's all I can say. Because I think from this side of the fence, everyone's been saying for quite some time, and that's one thing I'll say about Newport fans. I know a lot of them. That Newport people they'll speak straight, right? It's a softer town, as in the people aren't as aggressive up front as Cardiff. Trust me, I live between these two. They're not as aggressive up front as Cardiff. But don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. They're as tough as anybody in the Welsh region. So
I suppose
you can't kid the fans. You won't kid them on.
The one advantage Christian Fuchs has had this week is that, unlike Vitor Matos, who had a press conference on a Monday and was playing on a Tuesday, he's had a week with them, and then after Barrow, it's 8 days before they play Boreham Wood in the FA Cup, which is a massive game, given the finances available in the FA Cup, against a side who are going really well.
For me, like,
league is the priority.
Well, one point is 2 games in sort of 10, 12 days, and one of them isn't a league game, is a bit of a problem for me. They need to get the league and they need to get going as quickly as possible, because the cup is like, the money in the cup is a separate issue for me. You know, it's no good saying, we won that game in the cup and we got an extra 60 grand, but we're now in the National League.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I'd rather lose that game and just stay in League Two and maybe lose that game 4-0 and not get any sort of further revenue and what have you. But it's a desperate situation. It
is. He's worked under some good managers, you've got to say. Won the Premier League under Ranieri, won the FA Cup under Brendan Rodgers, and has been assistant at Charlotte FC to Dennis Smith.
Dennis Smith?
No, not
Crystal
Dennis
Palace
Smith, sorry. The old Villa manager, whose name escapes me now. I've written the wrong name down. Anyway.
Ed, help us out.
Dean Smith, that's it. Dean
okay.
Smith, there we go. Thank you, Ed, in the background. Mr. Ed.
I told you you'd be in that seat one day, mate.
Dean Smith, yeah. I wrote Dennis Smith. The name sticks, obviously.
It's just an older generation, isn't it? It's a generational thing.
Yeah, well, my age is always
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. All right, I accept I fess up to my mistakes. Yeah, Dean Smith. So, not the worst group of managers.
No. But,
coached under.
You know, it's a new... it's like a mountain to climb already, isn't it?
It's what prepares you for League Two, is the thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a different... you've got players who've just come into the league. Mm-hmm. Admittedly, one of them...
You've got to wait till January till the window opens.
Yeah.
If you've got funds, you know, what kind of funds you're going to have.
Yeah.
And it's not just... and I think it's more down to wages you're going to pay than anything else.
Yeah.
If you're floating around thinking, I'm going to nick some very good experienced players for 1,500, 2 grand a week, you heard it last week, right? With Michael, he's telling you what some clubs are playing.
Yeah.
We know Wrexham, the kind of money they were paying in League Two. You're just not going to get out of it. You're not going to be able to put together a team that's capable of going on the kind of run you need to go on to overturn the deficit.
Okay, so we wish Christian Fuchs all the luck in the world.
Absolutely.
And if you're looking for Michael Flynn stuff, he was on last week, so have a look at that after you've listened or watched this.
Listen, all the best to him, Fuchs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, like I said, that's what I would say is the fans and everybody got to get behind him 100%. Because nothing or nobody more important. I would say nothing or nobody, player, owner, whatever, nothing or nobody is more important than the club.
Yeah. Difficult for us to talk about Wrexham because we're recording this on Wednesday and Wrexham are playing Bristol City at the Kairas this evening. But we can say excellent draw at Ipswich on Saturday. One defeat in 11 going into the Bristol City game. And, I've been fairly open. I've had my doubts about Arthur Okonkwo, the goalkeeper. But what I'll say is...
La, 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 la.
No,
I don't even want to hear it.
I told you, I'm happy to say...
Put your hands up.
He's really doing the business now. He's stepped up to the plate after Darren Ward's injury.
Darren?
Yeah, Darren Ward, the Wales goalkeeper. Danny Ward. God, I'm getting all my names wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Danny Ward injury.
Do you know what? You actually convinced me there for a moment.
Sorry, Danny Ward.
I was thinking to myself, I could have sworn it was Danny, or maybe I looked a bit stupid.
Okay, I'll get better now.
You know what I said?
We record this podcast again.
I said I was tired.
Yeah. We pass it on to me.
Yeah.
Danny Ward's injury. 5 league clean sheets ahead of the Bristol City game. As I said, difficult for us to talk. But they got Blackburn, one of your old teams, another one of your old teams on Saturday. We were pretty decent on the road. That's all I'd say.
Yeah. I do. They near the bottom though. They need a run of results. Blackburn, a strange club, a weird club. Never really. Times when they're up and around, you think they're going to challenge. They always drop down, and then when you think, "Ooh, this could be the season," they're struggling. They'll end up in the middle of the table because big old club, man, Blackburn.
And one more bit of Wrexham news: their CEO Michael Williamson was named Football Industry Leader of the Year at the inaugural Global Football Industry Awards. Don't know what that means, but it sounds quite good, and it's another feather in Wrexham's cap.
Are you plugging it because you want a job there?
No, I'm just making the point.
Clever though, clever. I like it.
Meanwhile,
I want to go back to Okonkwo because I kind of let that slide.
Well, I don't want to.
Kind of I wanted to. Oh, you would dig me out on it. Oh, you would dig me out on it.
Well, I've not been. You've not had to dig me out because I've admitted it.
I love it.
And I'll say it again if you want. He stepped up to the plate.
Okay.
Particularly since the injury to Danny Ward. There we are. They can cut that bit out and place that.
Did you say to me, Danny Ward, you fancy Danny as a better keeper than Okonkwo?
I said he would go in as number 1, and he did.
Yeah.
And he's not.
No, because you rated him higher. I had Okonkwo.
I just thought Okonkwo had...
mistakes in him and all that, you said. Yeah.
But fair play. Anyway, moving swiftly on. No mistakes for the Martyrs at the moment. The mighty Merthyr.
Flying.
6-2 winner at Alfreton on Saturday. Yeah. 2 goals in the first 12 minutes they conceded. Then hammered 6. Of course, Ricardo Reis got a hat-trick. Lewis Twamley got 1. Cole Jarvis got 2.
He's flying, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twamley.
And then...
I'm going to go is Suzanne Twamley.
His mother, yeah.
Yeah, she's invited. She's a good mucker of ours, right?
Yeah.
So she's invited me up to the game. I'm not going to eat that Merthyr cob, though.
Oh, well, if she's invited you, is that a joint? Do you say us? I'll eat yours.
I bet you would.
And then Tuesday night, 4-1 win over bottom of the table Leamington.
Yeah.
Ricardo Reis scored again, of course.
Yeah, flying.
23 goals for him. 7 league wins on the bounce, up to 3rd in the table. I think that's pretty smart going by Paul Michael's side.
Yeah. Well, he's got to be looking at well, I won't say it because you want the group to stick together, but the problem is when you have successes like that, the hard thing is keeping them all together. There'll be teams looking at your manager. There'll be teams looking at your goal scorer. Teams looking at your exciting winger. You know, it's going to be the difficulty will be keeping together. If they can keep together, then, you know, like I keep saying,
having been up there this season and having had the cob, they've really got something going there. You just feel the buzz around the town. And it is a real community club, which I think says a lot. We've all got a soft spot for Merthyr. They're everybody's second favourite team,
particularly in South Wales, isn't it?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So, good on them at Buxton on Saturday.
Yeah. And my mucker Andrew James is from that way. JMO, if you're listening, wherever you are, ex-Chelsea boy.
Oh, right, okay.
Great lad.
What's this, two-way family favourites?
Great. Well, he's my Merthyr boy, isn't he?
Oh, right, okay. Domestically, should say we've got Brian Barry Murphy coming up in the next few minutes here on the Rob and Blakey Commentary Box podcast.
Gotta wait for it.
We've been loud and clear on Welsh football, and even on our mistakes we've been loud and clear about as well. Well, I have. Domestically on the weekend, JD Welsh Cup, we did the early draw, didn't we?
Yes.
Well, it was the JD Welsh Cup Saturday, and no doubt the biggest story, Cardiff met, officially now, the TNS bogey team.
They are, yeah.
Beat them in the league, knocked the holders out, and 10 times winner, 2-1, two late goals from Jasper Payne and Matt Chubb in added time.
Well, good for them. And it's not anti-TNS. But I keep saying tonight to we look at him
I'm not saying. I'm not giving you that quizzical look.
Yeah, you are.
I do sometimes.
Let me explain. I'm not anti-TNS because, like I keep saying, it's for others to catch the top team. But it's refreshing that there's going to be a new name on the cup.
Well, that was Friday. On the same night, last year's runners-up and 2024 winners, Connorskey, lost 2-1 to the JD North leaders, Cymru North leaders, Llandudno. So this will be, stat a bit here, this will be the first JD Welsh Cup final not to feature either TNS or the Nomads since 2013. Close, 12 years. 13 years it'll be.
Yeah.
How about that?
Great maths, but
thanks.
It's what we need, isn't it? It is though, isn't it?
No, it'll be great.
You look at
it's such an opportunity.
What we have in our country is the Premier League, right?
Yeah.
The best sport in sort of TV televised event. It trumps everything, Champions League and everything, right? And what you've seen in the Premier League over the last, say, 2 or 3 seasons is sort of a clutch of clubs who are now all capable. There's no one standout club, is there? You look at where Man United are, you look where Chelsea were, where they are, you look where Liverpool were a few years ago and where they are, what they've won. You look at like Man City, where they were, what they've done, the titles, the 4 in a row, then losing it, then this season, are they... Newcastle, where they've come from. Newcastle were in the Championship a few years ago. Do you know what I mean? Look where they are. So to see it, Arsenal, what they're doing, they're looking like the favourites. You want that competitive. The more teams in your league that can compete, the better spectacle is. The more exciting, the closer it is. You know, you're not going to get like 9-1s and 6-0s and stuff like that.
But there was some solace for TNS on the weekend because their ladies' side, women's side, they were in the Boot Welsh Cup and they beat Bangor 10-0. Cardiff are the holders, Cardiff City. They were 5-0 winners over Cardiff Met. Bit of a local derby, that one. Last season's runners-up, Wrexham, were 11-0 winners over NFA, which is a northern side. Rosie Hughes scored 4 goals in that one. There was a derby in Ponty. Pontypridd United beat Pontypridd AFC 6-1 thanks to a hat-trick from Madison Lloyd. Penabont caused an upset by knocking out Barrytown United from the Adran Premier, top flight. And better mention Swansea City, of course. Swansea City 3-1 winners over Aberystwyth Town. Chloe Chivers scored 1, assisted 2. Why do I mention Chloe Chivers? I've mentioned this before. Why do I mention Chloe Chivers at Swansea City? I don't know.
Why?
She was in school with my daughter, Anna.
Oh, okay.
I suspect she's probably been around the house, but she probably won't remember.
Okay.
Unless she remembers how dirty the house was when she turned up, how sloven it was, the whole thing.
Me and Jules know that. We've never been there.
And the draw, which, as I said, we've done, haven't we? It was a big moment for us, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's like some of those scores are a bit wide, right? So
yeah. But that happens in early rounds of cup competition.
And it happens in early when leagues are set up early.
Yeah.
Like you just hope that, again, same thing for the women's leagues, that the teams just keep gathering strength. But this is I suppose, this is where the FAW help and what have you, and they got to make it so teams are able to not just survive but then thrive. Right? I'm not going to sit here and say I got a plan or worked out a plan or anything like that. But what you don't want is it to become sort of a mirror of the men's league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not a disrespect to anybody in the men's league. What I'm saying is what you want is a competitive league. The more competition you got attracts more people to watch it, attracts more sponsorship, because what happens is the clashes become bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Well, you've got to say in the Adran Premier, Wrexham and Cardiff are really neck and neck. And Wrexham, I think I mentioned to you, when I was up in North Wales last week with the under-19s, the men's under-19s, I bumped into Gemma Owen, Gareth Owen's better half, of course, old under-21 teammate of yours, wasn't he? Gareth Owen, was he?
Great, mate. Good, Great lad, Gaz. Love him to bits. Haven't seen him for ages, but, generally, under-21's great guy.
Well,
great guy.
Gemma's doing great work with the women and others at Wrexham.
Married to a great guy. What do you expect?
I think she's a great person in herself.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know her, so I can only speak for Gareth.
She's lovely.
Yeah.
But, they're really trying to do stuff now at Wrexham. Yeah. Not just build, crikey, what Phil Parkinson has done with it.
Baby, if you do it right.
There's no need to sing, mate.
No, I don't know. It's just like, I just thought it'd come with a moment. But do it right. Try and get it. The league, the teams, the setup. It's like one thing I'd say, to do it without money is non-impossible.
No.
So it doesn't surprise me that a team like Wrexham, who have money, are doing it and doing it right. Because there are teams, no doubt, with money who haven't done it right.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like, the WSL. It took Man United quite a while to get up to speed, didn't it? Teams like that, Liverpool. So, it's the more funds you can put into it and more competitive you can make it, the better it is for everyone.
So I should say that the draw takes place on Thursday evening.
Are you doing it?
Or rather, will be broadcast on Thursday evening at 8 o'clock on the Red Wall. Also on the Red Wall, this site this weekend. When I leave here, I'm hot-footing it to Dragons Park in Newport to commentate on the Red Wall coverage of Wales women's under-19s European qualifiers. It's Finland today, and then on Saturday they play Turkey, also at Dragons Park, 2 o'clock kick-off that one. And then next Tuesday, also at Dragons Park, they play France, who are one of the favourites, and they have to finish in the top 3 to be eligible to go through to the next round in the spring, when the draws will be made. So keep an eye out for that on the Red Wall site. You are listening to Rob and Blakey's Commentary Box podcast. We're loud and clear on Welsh football. Last week we hit record figures. If you want to get involved as sponsors or advertisers and you're looking to be part of this growing podcast, drop us an email if you want to talk. Our email is robandblakey@gmail.com. And finally, we come to our guest. Delighted to say that we're joined by the man who has led Cardiff City to the peak of League One, actually second in the table after a Stevenage win last night, which is not great for us because we wanted to introduce Brian Barry Murphy as the League One leading manager. Well, he probably still is. Brian, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure. Hi, Harold. Hi, Dave.
Good, thanks, mate. Good. Great to have you on at last. When you look back at your career in, like, I know it's been short in management, but is there anything in your sort of growing up in your childhood that defined like the way you think, the way you are? Because you seem to be able to, what you seem to do is taken Cardiff to a level I haven't seen us play in a very short space of time.
I don't feel as if I'm ready to go back into my childhood experiences and no, a lot of it was an amazing childhood, but I guess there's all sorts of different things that we don't even realize impact us when we're young. And you'll have had it, won't you? In our school, I guess there was an expected path that was. We were, I suppose, supposed to go into Irish sports and kind of do predictable things and have a nice steady job and go down that route. But what I witnessed was in our school, it was quite a sporting school, and we had different people from different backgrounds. Rugby, Ron McGarry was in my class in primary school.
Okay.
And always, I don't know, when I look back now, I always feel as if from a very young age there was a sense that we almost wanted to prove people wrong or take on what was the expected path of what we could or could not achieve. I think that's stayed with me, which is a positive, but can also be quite disturbing at times.
Yeah, I mean, I was quite intrigued, Brian. I was at your first press conference when you arrived at Cardiff. Yeah, I know. And, well, one scene never forgotten. And there was a journalist from Ireland who was over, and he comes to Irish sort of connections. I've seen him at press conferences in Wales before. But all he wanted to ask you about was your dad. And I don't think, don't blush at this. I don't think people realise how big your dad is in Ireland as a GAA. I mean, I tried to write, I looked at his Wikipedia page. It took me about 3 minutes to read right through it. Your dad has won astonishing amount of All-Ireland titles, both GAA, Gaelic football and hurling. Is that pressure on you or is that a help?
No, it's not, no. But if I'm being totally honest, when I was younger, I would often go to sporting events where I was playing myself, and I would see people whispering about that's Jimmy's son, or that's that guy whose father is the guy who plays all the hurling, and I always had an awareness of it from a very young age. And I suppose you do then subconsciously feel as if you almost have to live up to that expectation. And I suppose for people in Cardiff, in terms of Irish sports, my father was a very successful hurling Gaelic footballer, which is our national sport in hurling. So again, without realising it now, I grew up in under the microscope of always being in a sporting household, always being kind of, I suppose, the mood of the house or the mood of the city being dependent on winning games and winning trophies. And it's probably something that I didn't expect to prepare me so well for life at Cardiff.
Yeah, because I remember you saying in that press conference, he asked you what advice your dad had given, and he said, no, take the job. Because I can think of, me and Nathan, well, I've been covering the club 38 years now, I think it is. And Nathan's been, a player there. We've seen so many managers, particularly the last 5-6 years, but there was no doubt in your mind this is a job you wanted to take.
Yeah, no, I think there was a couple of reasons for me. I think the first thing for me was the opportunity to work with a lot of the players who I kind of felt as if I had seen a lot of and was curiously wondering what had kind of happened to them. So the one we speak about all the time is Rubin, but he probably was the one that was at the front of my mind. I'd seen him play as I saw him, I don't know if he actually saw his debut, but I'd seen him play for Mick. And he tells me it was his debut. So I was always aware of him and other players of that caliber that were in the club. But I guess I was doing my own thing for a couple of years, and the club were doing whatever they were doing, and kind of lost touch about what had happened to a lot of these players. And once I started to dig it a little bit deeper, I kind of saw there was still a lot of them within the club, and then just kind of felt as if it was a brilliant opportunity for me to go into a club with so much potential.
Is that why you focus more on the youth contingent? And so there's a lot of experienced boys who've been like cut because, I mean, the squad was massive, right? Is that why you focus so much? Because you knew there was that sort of talent? Because I think prior to that, Rubin had been the only one for many, many a year to come out through the academy system.
Yeah, I think initially, Nate, I think that was a big part of why I wanted to come to the club. But then I was desperate for, I was desperate to have, I suppose, a real buy-in from the likes of the Callums, Chambers, Robinson, Chris Willer, because you'll have been in the most successful dressing rooms yourself. You are dependent on those guys to see value in what you're doing yourself, and then you hope to bring something special together where everybody kind of feels as if they have a real part to play. And as you gather momentum through the season, that, I suppose, the unity of the team or the team spirit will carry you through the difficult moments, and that's what I've been so pleased with, because as you said, there's been so much focus on the young players and what benefits they're getting from this. I think the more experienced players still want to feel as if you have as much time or as much passion for improving them, and what I've seen is the players, like I said, Chambers, Robinson, Winkle, Willock, all them guys, Perry and G especially. I was very curious to see what Perry's ambitions were in terms of how much he wanted to improve. And like I said, I was blown away by how open these guys were to try and do something different.
Can I ask, where do you get your philosophy from, Bri?
I just think I always kind of had different periods of my career where I enjoyed different parts of it and bits which I didn't enjoy. And when I went into coaching, initially I was coaching at Rochdale with a lot of younger age groups, and I guess my most important job was to help prepare young players for the transition from academy football into first team football. And I guess I was trying to give them as many tools as possible to cope with that transition and stuff that I didn't have when I was doing it, to try and make them more prepared and essentially to allow them to fulfill their potential. And I suppose the style of play then becomes something that you feel passionate about, just essentially trying to get the players to enjoy it as much as possible and give them something to look forward to and feel really excited about being part of.
Are you surprised? I heard you say last week, we're probably where we're supposed to be, where we are, what our performance has deserved. Got away with one or two, lost one or two you thought might have, well, not many, but, results where you thought might have been better. But Nathan and I have always said what Cardiff lacks is a philosophy. And I'm interested that Nathan's asked you about your philosophy, because you seem to have instilled it really quickly beyond any of our thoughts that it might happen so quickly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I guess I was just slightly conscious or embarrassed about kind of making out as if this is my philosophy and it's my way of doing things, and that's the only way we can do it.
Well, you're the boss.
Yeah, but before I came, I suppose before I agreed on coming to Cardiff, I spoke to Gavin Chesterfield in detail about the philosophy of the academy and what the young players would be used to or what they wouldn't be used to. And then once I got an insight into, I suppose their overall ability and what they can and can't do, you're looking to improve that. And I felt as if it was aligned. And naturally, as you progress, like we're at first team level, so you have to kind of win games or I won't be here for long. So you have to kind of make sure that it's really clear on what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And then the players have got no doubt about it. And kind of from day one, it's just been about kind of making sure that we understand more so than systems, like what are the principles of play we're looking to do, and then as long as we're crystal clear on the foundations of that, we'll start to evolve and to add things on as we go through the season. That's why I believe the longer the season goes on, the better we'll be. And I know my job is to show that and not just talk about it.
See, that's part of the philosophy as well, because for so many years, bro, before you came, you got to understand that Cardiff was just so yo-yo. You just didn't know what you were going to get. I mean, you mentioned Mick McCarthy earlier. We know Mick, I spent a little time with him up at Sunderland. great manager, a great experience, but no one was able to sustain anything. And what would start really brightly would quickly fizzle into nothing, obscurity, basically. But what I think the fans, speaking to the fans and knowing what I'm seeing, the difference is that what you're saying there is where you started and you're attaching things as you get better and more understanding. That fits in and plays into the way Cardiff fans want to see their football. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, I think the feedback that I got from a lot of the people, I suppose in terms of supporters, was that they were open to, I suppose, our way or my idea of playing, as long as it didn't, I suppose, compromise what they want to see. And I think the supporters want to see essentially the team have a go, get the ball forward. I say as progressively as possible. Some supporters will say as quickly as possible. I think just the players have to have an idea of how we're going to do it. And then my idea always was to try and service our front players as efficiently as possible. And if that takes one or two passes to hit a Salech or a Callum Robinson, or it takes 10, 15 passes because the opponents do different things, and we have to be adaptable at that, to give the players the tools to make those decisions. And like I said, as long as we're clear on what our idea is, then you can start to evolve by, I wasn't fully aware of the intricacies of Callum Robinson or Salech, and then as you go through the months, you're thinking, how do we make it more effective for these guys to play to their strengths and not take away from what we built already? And I think it just makes it quite logical for the players that we're trying to add on and never rip up the playbook based on perceived failures throughout the course of the season, because there's going to be losses and there's going to be difficult spells where we get questioned. And I just felt as if, I don't know this, but you know better than me, I just felt as in previous seasons the players gave me the impression that they would jump from different things quite often. And just one of the things I picked up through my career was that can be quite hard to adapt to if you're a player. If you're a striker,
it's a nightmare,
and we're trying to get the. Yeah, it's hard.
The change, but that comes with the change in the manager and constant. And then what happens is what happened at Cardiff for a long time was under Vincent Tan was then, a manager would last 10 months, but they would come in and want 3 or 4 players in the first transfer window. They get to the second, another 3 or 4 players. And all you had, what the club didn't understand, was all you have now is a mix of players and a mix of managers who want certain players for certain reasons. So nothing's going to gel. You know what I mean? So I think what was most impressive was that you recognised that the cull had to happen. Certain experienced players I need, and then I've got this crop of youngsters, which, those Cardiff fans who've gone and seen the youth play, the under-18s or whatever, you would be aware of. But there's lots of Cardiff fans who weren't aware of your Capacios, your Lawlers and people like that. So it's been a breath of fresh air for a lot of people.
Do you enjoy watching your team?
Yeah, I feel genuinely privileged to be in the change rooms every day. That's why sometimes, again, I kind of almost enjoy being in a bubble where I can speak to you and do outside stuff on what we hope to achieve this season. But really within the dressing room, every single day, there's a humility in that dressing room and an excitement to try and improve. That's a throwback to when I was at the start of my career. I think that is helped by so many of the players coming together through the academy, and they feel as if there is a platform for them to do really good things. And then, like I said to you, trying to add that mix of experienced players to make it bubble and thrive. And it's a brilliant club to be part of for me, and I'm very grateful.
It's really interesting that you talk about this player development. I watched the Virtue Trophy game against the Arsenal under 21s, who I'd seen at Newport a few weeks before, and they were tasty. But I said to Nathan the next day, the amazing thing was you could have swapped any of those faces for a senior player, and they all played the same way. So it could have been Kean Ashford out wide on either side, or Isaac Davis out wide. Do you know what I mean? And that says something of the way that even those youngsters who, let's face it, are, well, you might say knocking on the door, but they're just at the moment seeking to get where you want them to be. it could have been a first team, but
Yeah,
just a very young first team.
Yeah, I think you know, all the coaches and Gavin, who've done all the work in the academy for years, probably do feel as if these players now have a pathway. So I was in academy football, so I know the challenges that a club like Cardiff face to keep their best players, because the bigger clubs in the Premier League will be looking to take a lot of our best young talent. And if we can genuinely say to the parents, the players and their agents when they're old enough to have them, that there's a pathway here for these players, they're going to get a chance to play first team football in League One as it is now, hopefully higher, then I think it gives a chance to retain our best talent and develop really brilliant players for the club and very valuable assets, because you know,
it's the only way you make money.
Yeah, it's our bosses essentially will want to run a business where it's not draining money, and that's a very valuable way of doing it.
Yeah,
but there was in the Arsenal game, there was a scene after the game in the dressing room where we had a young striker called Jack Sykes. He's 17. He's a very young player, and he honestly, he was sat in the dressing room in the days after the game, and I checked if he was all right, and I said, "Are you all right, Jack?" And he'd only trained with us one day, and he just said to me, he said, "Brian," he said, "I'm buzzing." He said, "I can't believe I got to play in this stadium for this club." And in that moment, I thought, like, you know, I go back to you asked the first question about growing up in Ireland, everything was about GA was community based. It was all about a group of people playing Gaelic sports from the same community. And in that moment, I thought there's parts of Cardiff that are just the exact same as Ireland, and if you can take away all of the money and the outside stuff that influences football so much now, there's still a purity to that makes you think like, geez, this is something brilliant for a kid to be like in a daze because he's playing in that stadium for that club is something very special.
It's so refreshing to hear, though, from your point of view, because a lot of managers wouldn't have picked up on that. So that's the psychology that is. So that doesn't surprise me why you are, to this point, have been so successful. Do you put any pressure on yourself or the players as far as promotions go? Because I remember being at Wolves and it was like, you got to get promoted. Bolton was another one, you've got to get promoted. Is there any sort of pressure that you apply to the team, or is it just unspoken of?
To myself, not to the team, to myself. In the first press conference, Nathan, your colleague to your left, I'm looking at the right, said that the seat I was sitting in was the hottest chair, one of the hottest chairs in British football. And that I was crazy to come and join the club, I think.
Okay.
Did I say that?
Well, you've got to understand, Brian. What you're talking to? You're talking to an ex-player and an ex pundit.
He keeps telling me I know nothing about football.
He's an ex-newspaper journalist, you see. So he's got that streak in him. So apologies for that.
But to be fair, the minute he started reeling off the amount of managers who've been through that seat in the last 3 or 4 years, I thought like maybe I shouldn't be here. It sounded pretty hot.
See, and that's why when you speak the truth, people realise that you know it works. I want to ask you about a couple of players, because he says he's played the game, I haven't, therefore he knows. We had this big argument at the weekend. I watched the Northampton game.
Yeah, this will be interesting.
And I've asked you about it before, so I think you know where I'm coming from on this. But what does Yousef Salech have to do? Is it Salech or Salech, by the way? You say Salech.
Yeah, Salech.
Salech, right. So what does he have to do to win a free kick? Because I think, like Kiefer Moore when he plays for Wales, defenders target him. I don't blame him for that because he's a handful. But I think he gets no protection. And he tells me, oh, no, he's given as good as he's got. But it doesn't look like when he went in fact, on Saturday, you probably saw it, when he won a foul in injury time, he put his two hands up in the air as if he'd won a game. Can
I just tie into the back of that, right? So what I'm saying, trying to explain to Rob, right, is if Yousef watches his game, and this might be certain for him or the coaching staff, he is fighting and fouling as the balls come in, right? Both of them, centre half, they're both trying to, and I'm saying, as a person who played up front, no, it's all about timing. What you do, you see the ball, or you see the person about to pass, all he needs to do is give because he's so big and physical, a quick nudge, and as he goes, and then he protects the ball, so it doesn't become a fight. That's what I'm saying.
Brian, you decide.
I was going to ask Nathan for some advice.
Well, that's
I was going to take some notes.
It's a little timing thing. He does it. I tell you, who was great at it as well is John Hartson, right? John Hart, you've never seen people get around him. He's very shaped in a very similar way and could run, same as Salech. But as the ball is developing or the play is developing, if I'm fighting and I manage to wrestle and get the better of the centre half, the chances are the referee will give a foul against me for shirt pulling. If I just nudge you off balance and then it's all about time and the ball comes into my feet, I then wait for you to approach or wait for the body contact. So it's a timing issue.
You better play this podcast to him. What are your thoughts?
I've got some pretty strong opinions on it, and I've been sharing them with him, and he's been sharing with me. And it's been linked to some stuff like Nathan speaking about. I've been looking at the players of his profile, both past and present. I think the important thing, Nathan, that I've been asking the questions of the referee about, because there's been a big change in the interpretation of the law. So they're saying to me, for all you guys who played as strikers and target man, the minute they now get a sense that there's toing and froing between two people, so once they see you pinning the centre back or the centre back grabbing hold of you, they're not blown for it. So they're just going to let it go and go and go. And essentially they're going to let him. He's the one who's going to miss out because they're going to put him to the ground. He's going to turn over the ball, and we're looking to improve his link play and make him more elusive. So, the change in the rules does impact it, but I think the principle is still the same. I think either he needs to have better pre-movement or to bump him to get away from him. But for me, less contact is more beneficial for him because
absolutely.
He's getting involved in prolonged duels, and we don't feel as if he's getting a fair crack at it. But I keep saying to my coaching staff, Lee Riley's obsessed with it. If you see Allen and guys like that, they're trying to avoid contact for as long as possible now. So number one, the defenders can't see you, and two, when you do see you, it's too late, and you can reduce.
Yeah, standing his periphery or behind him, right? Because you're going to be physically, and I mean that I learned that from, I'm not going to name drop, but that's Ian Rush's
name drop,
right? It's he would be where you can't see him, but when you play with them, they give you these little like golden nuggets in training and what have you. Like Mark Hughes, the best player holding up the ball you'll ever see.
Best ever, yeah.
All about timing, all about like defenders eventually give up once they know I can't get around him. I just got to give him the respect due. But at the moment, Salech is still in this grappling fight with him, right? And that's what's it just makes it easier for Yousef. He'll get more goals.
Yeah. Well, I'll be interested.
It's interesting. But it's interesting. We had again the beauties of doing what we're doing is Callum Robinson is a much different profile, but he's been speaking to him about when he's playing against bigger centre halves. He tries to avoid contact at all costs until it's on his terms.
Yeah.
And whereas Yousef feels it because he's 6'4" and he's such a huge man, he's looking for contact. But really, what I saw from him was when we were looking to play passes into him, he had a tendency to go towards the ball and to go right down the line of the ball.
Yes.
And then he could never rig it. So we worked a lot on essentially pre-movement away from the ball and getting the guys to pass it, off that different line so we can receive it on the move and just try and add different things to his game that will improve him and the other strikers.
Yeah. Brilliant. Sure, we've got to ask you, Rubin, any news on how serious the injury is, Rubin Colwill?
Yeah, he's definitely damaged ligaments in his ankle. We'll have confirmation tonight or tomorrow, but it's going to be definitely months rather than weeks. But hopefully in the new year we'll have him back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, which is a worst thing for him. Obviously, terrible for him as much as anything, because he's just you've helped him find the form of his life.
Yeah, I love Rubin. He's one of the best guys I've ever met. I think he's an incredible player, and I just think like in everything, there's an opportunity for him now to do his rehabilitation and come back. I can't say bigger, but I definitely think stronger and in a better place for hopefully if he comes back in February, then hopefully we'll be in a really strong position if I can do my job well.
Yeah, he's a brilliant talent.
Brilliant talent.
Brilliant talent.
Brilliant skill. Brilliant skill.
We quickly as well, Ollie Tanner on Instagram yesterday had his 2 arms up in the air, sort of strength pose, and saying "not long now." What does that mean?
Luckily, I'm not on Instagram, but I'm following him. No, I think he's just trying. I think he's trying to sow all of these seeds of expectation regarding the Chelsea game. But as I've reminded him and the other players, there's a lot more important games than that game. He's no, he won't be back in. I think his expected return is towards the end of December, and that won't change.
Yeah,
we can't take any chances. He's done
add an extra 2 weeks on that, innit, for a player, because we're always way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, same for
I'm
Rubin,
fit.
same for him.
No,
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got some big games ahead of Chelsea, but obviously when you come to Chelsea, I assume you'll be really pleased the way Maresca's going at Chelsea, because you probably know him from your Man City days.
Yeah. I like it. When the draw is made, everyone like speaks about what a great draw it is. But when you watch them last night, you start to get a little bit nervous.
Yeah, what a nightmare.
See that Esteval looks like one of the best players I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Good job, Joel Bagan is one of the most consistent players you've got.
Got to keep him fit. Yeah. Got to get Ollie Tanner maybe fit. No, I think on a serious note, two of the best evenings I've had since I've come to Cardiff have been for the national games. The first game against Belgium, because it was my first experience, and the second game against North Macedonia. I'd never seen the stadium full, and the atmosphere was incredible. And when I first came in the summer, I think it might have been one of those first days, they said the stadium hadn't been full for a long time. So I think ticket sales are gone. It's fully sold out. So that'll be an incredible evening, and hopefully every single Cardiff supporter can have an amazing night. And we'll try our best to
because anyone's beatable, right, bro? Anyone's beatable on the day.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're speaking to the man next to me. He's got a soft spot for that blue half of London. So,
interesting.
Yeah. All right. Oh, that's really put me in
that's
bad
all
books.
we need.
Cheers.
That's all we need.
No, brilliant. And I mean, you said how much you're enjoying it. More importantly, is the owner enjoying it? Because I'm sure you will have seen difficult to miss the reputation that Vincent Tan had before you arrived, the old James Bond character and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I've not seen that, bro.
Yeah.
I'll show you.
He doesn't do social media.
Oh no.
No, I would almost say like what I said in the first month has almost remained the case. That Vincent is very is super direct and clear to me what he expects to see, and then he leaves the process of how to get there up to me. And then if I do it well, he's happy, and if I don't do it well, he lets me know. But he's very honest and very clear. And when the games are difficult, there was a couple of Sundays back when we got beaten by Bolton on the Sunday. He was super supportive, and
that was unlucky though.
Yeah, I was glad you were there for that one, actually.
Yeah, I was so. A great goal, right? But so
it was a cracking game, wasn't it?
It was a brilliant game. It was like watching two championship teams. It was a brilliant game, and yeah, I was like, there's no one gonna go away like. You'll be disappointed that I was disappointed that Cardiff lost, but I always say performance. That's what I say. Performance matters, right? Because if your performance level is quality, your fans go on the coach and they go, "Wow, how have we lost that?" Or "What a game!" But I was so close. We played well. Blah 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 blah. What you don't want is them going, "I don't know what's going to happen next. Where we are, how we play, where have you." I just thought it was a brilliant game. Brilliant game.
I just thought in that game, as you can imagine, in the change rooms after the game, the players were heartbroken. It's a kind of a sign of where we're at. In that game, we nullified them for long periods, kept the ball really well, but didn't create a whole lot of chances, if we're being honest. And they always had a punch on the break, which made me slightly nervous. We then go away to Blackpool, where we create a stack of chances, don't play with as much control or possession, and get hammered. There's a lot of inconsistencies in what we're doing, but hopefully the supporters can see, I suppose, the improvement in the players in the team, which will make them feel as if they can support in the moments of difficulty throughout the course of the season.
Well, I've seen it definitely, and what I would also say, I give you massive credit, Bri, for the way you sort of manipulate and manage the subs and the changes of positions of players and what have you. whenever I think to myself, oh, I kind of do this now, you kind of do it. You know what I mean? Because at Northampton, I think Ronan was having a bit of a tough time, right? And toward second half, he moved him forward and put NGs, solidified the defence, and then it was kind of not easy, but easier. I mean, Trotty makes 2 great saves at the end, but you just felt right. They got more chance of winning the game with those sort of changes and substitutions. So, do you plan that, or is it just you doing it off the cuff as you see the game develop?
No, I think I'm conscious of the fact that we haven't got a big squad, but I still want all the players to feel as if they have a real good chance of playing, you know. But if I think then you're almost, again, we try and treat our dressing room like a bubble where like nothing can get inside it and everything. So saying to the players, you can't just take for granted that we're going to chop and change the team all the time, and no matter what happens in training, you're going to play. The players have to earn the right to play. But Capaccio has been incredible in terms of his application and his desire to play every single game. But he is so young that there's going to be games where he needs help, and that's the part of playing such a young team with young players. Dylan always had the same, hasn't he? He's had an incredible rise. But there was part, and it looks on the outside as if it's been seamless. But we played Blackpool, and he had a very difficult game where
big striker turned him and everything.
Yeah, and that's the stuff where like we all love having a young squad and young players from Cardiff, but when they make mistakes or they suffer real disappointment, because we're demanding so much of them, I just can't jump on the bandwagon and hammer them and
and that's what I always say, right? It's not like I said about Dylan, like the first goal, the lad, the striker, could have actually shot across the keeper. So I was saying, Dylan's got to get closer to him, right? Like, get a deflection. If he hits it in that top corner, okay, it might come off your studs or whatever, but you got to get closer. And then the second goal, don't let him turn it, foul him, kick him, pull him to the ground, take a yellow card, whatever. But don't let him turn out, and then he exposes the midfielder and Robson with a nod of approval. I think that's probably the worst game I've seen Dylan play. But nailing people is no good. It's education, right? You just show him where you went wrong. Yeah. Don't let it happen again. He knows next time he's in that situation, I'm just going to pull the boy down, especially if I'm not on a yellow card. And then he steps up for Wales and was outrageous.
Yeah, outrageous, as you saw. Yeah. Listen, we've kept you beyond really, but thank you for this. A few more things I want to ask you about. Nathan Trott. Nathan's mate, Gavin Ward, your goalkeeping coach. Now, Gavin Ward had an inspired season when this guy helped Cardiff to promotion from Division 4 then. And they've had David Marshall and Neil Alexander. But I've got to say, Nathan Trott is getting there to be...
He's beyond there. He's already
better than David Marshall?
I don't compare.
All right. I'll ask the manager then.
It's different
I mean, you must be so happy with the way he's fitted in. And, you talk about winning points. He makes big saves at big moments, doesn't he? Not least the right hand up on Saturday to preserve the 2-1 at Northampton.
Yeah, I think on Nathan Trott, I just feel as if I can almost be the Grinch with him. I push him all the time, and every time he has a really good game, I just want more from him because I think he can do it.
Yeah.
He's got so much room for improvement, and that's probably the most exciting thing for us. Honestly, he can improve his power a lot. He's got unbelievable natural ability, and because it tends to come to him pretty easily. There could be a complacency for myself and Gavin Ward to not push him, but we feel as if he can improve a lot in terms of his power and certain aspects of his game. And then it's obvious he's been brilliant for us, and he's made loads of brilliant saves. So I'm not just taking that for granted. He's an unbelievable lad, really, really good guy, and he's a very calming influence on the team. Actually, he's
He's a leader. He comes across as a leader.
Yeah, he is that. Yeah, he is a really good leader. Yeah, in his own way. Really calm guy, and he's and people won't see. It's like football, isn't it? Everyone thinks he's had this seamless journey to where he is now. But he got hammered in Copenhagen for a series of mistakes, and so he knows what it's like, and his influence on the young players is really beneficial for me.
Yeah,
he's brilliant. Look.
I've seen him talking and during
So
games,
good.
before games, after games, and I did think he looks like one of the leaders, one of the captains in the team, and it's a new back four, new goalkeeper, and it's just gelled together. And it doesn't matter who plays. He is sort of he organises everything, and yeah, he's a brilliant addition, I think.
And we expect players who are perceived as being senior players to be flawless and not make mistakes, but it doesn't work that way, does it?
Yeah.
Like Gabriel Osho signed for us as a senior professional centre back, and in his first games made mistakes. He said to me that he's never made before, and then he has moments of doubt or real difficulty, and Nathan was there for him and really supported him and shared with him. You used to talk about the nuggets you get from other professionals. Like he's speaking about, like he had those difficulties in Copenhagen, and then you start to train it and come through it, and once you start to master it, you feel as if you can do anything.
Yeah. Who keeps you going? When the odd loss, how do you cope with the odd loss?
I'm lucky. I've got my girls have come with me, so I'm pretty busy with my daughters are 4 and 5, and my wife is a pretty big football fan, so she's very supportive. I've got very strong opinions on the game, as you can appreciate.
Yeah, very strong opinions about the win at Wrexham. I remember seeing it on Instagram.
Yeah, she's a big Arsenal fan, so everything's okay.
Oh, Rosie.
Yeah, they don't care about anything else. It's as if nothing else exists.
She is also, let's be honest about it, sparing your blushes, she's a star in her own right. Are your careers sort of parallel, do you think? Or do you always say, she's really well known, isn't she? Probably as well known, if not more well known. I looked at it. She's got 100,000.
More than me, Rob. More than me.
Yeah. Well, I was
you can tell it as it is, man.
No, I could be really naughty and say,
Yeah, but does Brian do social media?
You had your dad in Ireland. You got your wife here. When are you going to be a star in your own house?
Nah, she's always carried us. She's always earned a lot more money than me. She's pretty big in the music scene, and I feel as if I'm okay at football, but in music and stuff I'm miles behind what she and the rest of the players will be up to date on. So
give me a call.
She almost try keep me relevant. Yeah, Nathan.
Give me a call. Music is my thing. He was the dressing room maestro, so I can. There's a bit of a gap between us, but I think I could take you back to the 50s. And all the way up to modern day. So give me a call, mate. And we got the. I'll send you a few tracks, and you might surprise her. Yeah.
Like it. I'll ask Kevin more.
It will be a surprise. Listen, Brian, it's been fantastic having you on. Really appreciate it.
Great.
I think I've worked out the next six of the next 9 home games are at home. So you've done plenty of travels already, but this will be really. It must be an exciting time now.
Yeah, I think obviously the international breaks are finished, and hopefully we can start to really put the performances in the home that I suppose gives a chance to cement our place at the top of the table and kick on.
Yeah, well, we wish you the best.
100%, bro. 100%. I'll give you more if I could.
Yeah, so
appreciate it.
See you Saturday for the post-match, if not before.
See you there.
Really appreciate you coming on, and you're always welcome. And thank you very much. And that will just about...
Bless you, bro.
Yeah, that will just about do it for the Rubin Blakey Commentary Box podcast for this week. We're loud and clear on Welsh football. We've been really loud and clear this week. And look out for it on all your social media channels. And we'll see you next week.